Oh my goodness, it must be Wednesday. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, mighty, mighty warriors, and welcome to this, your sixth call in the first round of the 2015 Warriors program. That means that we have one final call coming up for April 29th, my mighty warriors, and you are right now in your last mile. So how are you going to finish this race? Are you limping in? Are you shuffling for the finish, or are you sprinting for that finish line? It's go time, people. This is the time that warriors are made and broken. The last mile is just as important as the first mile because it's an easy time to kind of lay back and coast. But a real warrior knows this is the finish, and it's just a little further. So it's time to push. You got to push for that extra booking. You got to push for that extra sale. Push yourself to pick up that phone and make that call when you're ready to kind of call it a day and lay down on the couch. If it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. And you have this one last week to rise to that challenge. So rise, my beauties, rise. And speaking of warriors that are rising to the challenge, Mary Harrington Hart set out a hostess packet this week for her first ever fundraiser. Way to go, Mary. I love that you're raising money for the things that matter to you and working your business at the same time. I'm super proud of you, girl. Good job. And congratulations to Shelly for doing an amazing demo last week at our BBW. People are still raving, Shelly. Way to go. And the lovely Lindsay Bateman was excited to be booking for a woman in her 60s who has never had a party before. That is a seasoned virgin. Lindsay is going to be showing her the goddess life. So have a blast, Lindsay. That's awesome. I love it. And Linda Norton did a stellar job putting together a fantastic spring fling event in Chicopee, Mass. This last Sunday. The speakers and topics were awesome. Amy Lebrecht, oh my gosh, like people are raving about you, and the energy was through the roof. So be sure to attend next year's event, Warriors. It's a not-to-be-missed event. And now, speaking of not to be missed, is the lovely, the luscious Goddess 69 to give us the 411 on tonight's speaker, Amy.
Holla. Hey, everyone. Well, I'm going to give you, like Carrie said, the 411 on our speaker tonight. We have Jill. She joined Athena's in March of 2013 as a, why not? And that why not turned into one of the biggest years of her life. In 2013, her husband lost his job for an entire year, but thankfully with her Athena's business, Jill was not only to keep her family afloat, but she ended the year as number 2 top new goddess. Woo! And she even did a surprise 11-day trip for her 2 girls to Walt Disney World at Christmas time. I want you to adopt me, Jill. And once Jill realized, I was like, you're my mama. Once Jill realized that, all that Athena's had to offer, she made the decision to start growing her team. So currently she's an earthly goddess with all her baby cramets, and Jill's goals with her business have changed from year to year, from paying off credit card debt, taking amazing bucket list vacations, and now her husband and her just opened their own heat pump business. So she's a cupcake queen by day and a goddess by night. So please help me welcome the lovely goddess, Jill Cram.
Woo! I watched Miss Delphire today.
Yeah, welcome back. You're a returning speaker, and thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us again. So tonight's topic is one that we've covered before, but I also think it's one, kind of like booking that we need to constantly be touching back to because it's really a foundation for long-term business success. So what we're talking about today is follow-up, and we've heard it many times, how important it is to keep in communication with our clients. We've heard many times the fortune is in the follow-up. So, Jill, can you tell us kind of what follow-up means to you and how you've been getting it done?
I sure can. So over the past 2 years, I've slowly improved my follow-up skills. I've learned many things from Chrissy Sheds along with other goddesses in this company with what systems have worked for them. And Jennifer Jolicoeur had contacted me about doing a future wow call for fortune in the follow-up. Jennifer and I had been brainstorming on what I could do to help the warriors, and when she had mentioned about doing fortune in the follow-up, my reaction was, I do follow-ups, but I'm no Chrissy Shed. And right then it struck us, what a great way to show by having a system in place that you could be successful for anyone. So Jennifer and I decided that this would be a great challenge for myself. I'd be able to use those tips that I learned and utilize them to the fullest. I would dedicate a huge section of my time improving, implementing, and tracking my follow-up success. I wanted to prove to myself and the other warriors that if you take the time, these are great tips and there is fortune in the follow-up.
And that's right, Jill. It's important to understand that you don't have to be Chrissy Shedd, and anyone can increase their profits, their bookings, and their client base just by following these steps. So let's start here. Let's talk about square one. Step one, where did you start?
So my first step was organization. My previous system, I had just monthly files with parties all piled in them. My follow-up used to be people I knew closest to me and the ones that I saw most active on Facebook. And I think not only was it because it was a comfort thing, but also just because they kind of stood out in my head. I saw them all the time. I improved my filing system by placing all my parties in individual files from since I joined March of 2013. So each file, I reviewed it, filed it, and I used those medical files, the ones with the metal class on both sides, to organize them. So each side would hold a month. So I had 2 months in each folder. And then second, it was time to start reviewing all my past team members' client list.
So no question that you can't follow up with your clients if your paperwork is a mess. I mean, we know that. But, Jill, Can I stop you right there and ask you to kind of please explain to everybody what you mean by past team client list?
Yeah, so in January, I was reviewing my list of all my active team members for Team Cram, and I saw 6 goddesses that didn't re-sign contracts for the year. But after poking around in the back office, I noticed all their clients rolled up to my customer contact list. So I took the time and I printed out all their parties in their past from all my past team members, and then I took all their client information. And this way, I had a starting point to talk to them and contact them, reach out to them, and introduce myself.
Okay, whoa. Okay, so now that is follow-up. Do you hear that, Warriors? If you had a team member that did not resign, all of their previous clients are out in the wind. So, Jill, how did that kind of, to me, feels like it might be a little bit overwhelming. How did you reach out to these guys? That's kind of a daunting job.
It was a lot of work. So what I first did is I wrote a letter introducing myself. I wanted to let them know that I was here for them, for refills, parties, or just questions about our company. And then I made personal phone calls to every single one of them. I left them a message, or some people I actually talked to. I let them know that there would be a letter coming also. In each letter, I introduced myself with a business card, a coupon. I offered 20% off their first order with me. During this process, I learned a lot of really important things that I want to pass on to my warriors and my team members, is making sure your back office filing system is correct by making sure you have the current hostess, guest, the hostess information and all their guest information. I found many of my past team members might have just used like their phone or email and their client information instead of getting the correct information. And this made my job so much harder. Is even now I have Athena's clients out there that I have no way of reaching. So my tip to all of you, don't do it for just you, do it for them. If you decide that you want to leave Athena's, they deserve to still have a way of reaching our company and not feeling left behind.
That is so right. It's about our clients, not ourselves. So kudos to you for passing, that on to your newbies as well. And this was a question that was brought up by Holly Flacqua at the BBW last week. How do you contact clients from team members who have left? What do you say to them? And I think you nailed it, my friend. And Jill, I'm curious, do you use a script when you call these past team clients? Because I'm sure our warriors would love to hear it.
Okay, warriors, so don't hate me, but I don't use a script. And honestly, it's because I'm dyslexic and it's hard for me to read and process what I'm reading. It kind of makes me sound like a robot. So I wing it. Plus, it gives me a way to personalize each call. I do start off with kind of just a general example would be, "Hi, Jane. This is Jill from Athena's Home Novelties. I'm giving you a quick call to check in with you. I am Erin's team leader. She was a goddess at Sarah's party. Erin is no longer an active goddess. So I wanted to make sure that you had a contact with our company for any questions, issues, or refills that are needed. I see you purchased the shave cream. I hope you love it as much as I do. I will be mailing out a letter to you also, Jane, in the next week or so with a coupon in it. I hope to hear from you soon."
Okay, that was awesome, but yet a tease. It's kind of like your cupcakes, Jill. I want more. So can you read us what your letter says to your clients as well?
So my letters are pretty much like that. I kind of keep them short and sweet, but I do go a little bit more in depth of who I am and my experience with the company, how long I've been a goddess, and then just encouraging, looking forward to continuing a business relationship with them.
Yeah, maybe we could post one even on the Warrior page so that people can see them.
Sure.
I think maybe it might be worth mentioning here as well that we don't necessarily have the permission of people on that client list to be on the mailing list. So just make sure that your letter is not highlighting any adult products, and it's really just a matter of customer service to make sure that they know that they have a contact at Athena's and they're, not completely out of the loop. So due to the nature of our product, we need someone's permission to be sending them mailing. So you can't just add them to your mailing list, but you can reach out and contact them. So why don't we stop there? And give the first code word. So our first code word is, perfect timing, service. Our first code word is service, SERVICE, service. Okay, so Jill, once you were organized and you had reached out to all these kind of potential clients, what came next for you?
All right, so I took time and I listened to Chrissy Shedd's 14 in the follow-up call that we have posted in the back office. I wanted to make sure that I reviewed all her tips. I took 2 pages of notes on how I could utilize her tips, and then came up with my own system that would work for me. I think it's important to remember the key to our success is not to try to be like other goddesses and Adonises, but to use these calls and create your own working system. After all, what makes us different is our strong suit. Plus, each of us work our business at different levels, full-time, part-time. Some of us are covered in frosting 90% of the time, or some of us are milking goats. Jessica Carter. Don't feel the pressure of doing what everybody else is doing. Find what works for you and then rock it. So I was ready. I had my plan of attack. An attack I did. I started calling and emailing and Facebook messaging clients from every single party I had since I joined. I started month by month. Each person I reached out to, I made notes of what was said. Facebook is a great place to use this because it keeps your history so you can see when you talked to us and what you talked about.
I'm still thinking of you covered in frosting, Jill. It sounds kind of kinky. Yep. Now, we have a lot of new warriors this session, and they aren't familiar with Chrissy's follow-up wow call. So can you name some of the specific steps, and what were some that really stood out from you from Chrissy's call?
Oh, my gosh, yes. So Chrissy covered an entire section on outside orders, and this was where I really wanted to do most of my focus. Some of her tips that I utilized were, and I'm just going to list them down here. So one thing she says, refills will not come to you. You need to reach out to get them. Totally believe in that. Another thing she says is, if you call, they will order. And I did find 75% of the time it was true. Chrissy has a referral incentive. I love this. I received new clients. I gave away discounts to clients who would get me a referral. Most of the time it was 10 to 15%, depending on what size of the outside order that was sent to me. Sending personal emails and phone calls to clients that would love certain products. So I do that when new stuff comes out. Staying on the client's radar, this is one of the most important things to me. And the reason why I started way back in my 2013 year to start doing all this, I wanted to reconnect with anyone I might have let fall through the cracks. Chrissy said, outside orders are a great way to make your average or monthly quarter sales. I agree 100%. Every goal I have ever had in sales has been made not by my parties, but by my outside orders. I make myself a goal, and I go out and get it. Also, being an indie goddess, you can fall into the credit card game really easy when ordering supplies. But I never order stock I don't have money for. Everything I've paid for is 100%. I've paid for 100% full. So if I need another $500 to get that 50% buying discount on my supply order, I go out and I get it, and I work on outside orders until I do. Another thing she suggests is keeping the wish list on file. When I followed up with all those people, I had their wish list so I could remind them of what they maybe didn't get a chance to purchase and offer them a small discount on those items. Let's see, one thing that I started, I'm not sure she does, is that I have a large dry erase board in my office, and I split it in half. One half is Blitz, one half is Recruit Leads. They have names and phone numbers on them, and I update it as I do my follow-ups, but also as I have my parties. I keep the board fresh and very handy, so when we have joining specials or Blitz comes around, it's all right there. Chrissy sends out thank you letters and hostess thank you letters to her hostesses and her guests. I also send out thank you cards, and I also created a nice to meet you card. This postcard thanks them for coming. It also gives them a way to reach me in the future for any orders, and also like a little incentive for ordering.
Damn, girl, you did your homework, and very well, I might add. You know, the proof is in the, the proof is in the pudding, or the proof is in the frosting. And how did you fit this in, or should I say, how do you continue to do so? You know, can you take us through a typical week for you, like Sunday through Saturday, in the life of Jill Cram Cupcake, mom extraordinaire that still finds time to follow up?
All right, so Monday through Friday, I'm usually up by 6:30 a.m., and as I'm getting my girls ready for school, I normally can sit down, have my coffee, and I do my to-do list. I'm very busy, and I find keeping a list keeps me on track. Funny thing is, this list actually has me eating on it, has me working out, has a shower, those things in life that I tend to get too busy to do and take care of, like put on a bra before I bring my girls to school. I have... my girls appreciate that too. Then I have from 9 to 2, when they're at school, I can get my work done. So Mondays, I'm checking in with my hostesses and party guests for the upcoming weekend parties, cleaning my house and doing those other wifely duties. I work on any orders that need to be shipped out, and then I'm checking my supply to see if I need to put a supply order in from the weekend before. My to-do list consists of Athenas, cupcakes, heat pumps, errands, and things I need to do just around the house. It will even say, give Madison a shower on the list. So stay focused, stay track. I also make a list of things that need to be completed that week. So my follow-up calls are on that list. Monday is also my day that I decide what day, on which day I would do what. My mother-in-law jokes around me. She says that I fill every single minute of the day, and it's true on some days. Again, the list keeps me on track, and if it doesn't get done that day, I will bump it to the next. I prioritize as I go. So at 2 o'clock, I get my oldest out of school. She gets an hour of mom time, which at 11-year-old, she definitely needs that. And at 3 o'clock, I get my youngest, and she gets an hour of mom time, which basically consists of bossing me around. Then I start thinking about dinner. My evenings when the girls are off to bed, you'll find me in my chair, usually working, enjoying a TV show with my husband. Some nights I'm working till midnight. Some may think this is crazy, and I work hard now so that I can have an easier life, or I can enjoy life more, I should say. I love being able to pay for cruises. We had a 7-night cruise we paid for in cash, taking the girls and doing fun things. If you work hard, you're rewarded largely. My weekends are less crazy unless I have a full weekend of parties, though. I try to do 6 parties a month, work 2 full weekends, and then this way on my off weekends, I can have more family time.
You know, Jill, I'm still smiling, thinking of you not putting on a bra before you pick up your girls from school. You know, and the funny thing is because I know you aren't the only one who forgets.
Well, I'm just glad she's remembering to eat and sleep. That's on the list. So wow. So I am also a busy working mom, wife, sister, musician, goddess, warrior. So I totally get the need for the list. And I like that you put the simple things on there because checking things off, it keeps you going. And I think that's a good idea. So, and you're holding yourself accountable. So this, for someone that maybe sees organization as more of a challenge, because you may say you're not, but you are, based on that, you're very organized. How do they get started, Jill? Like for somebody who says like, oh, I'm just not organized, how do they kick off?
Right. So I would say a filing system. Get a filing system is the most important thing. After that, it's really easy. It's just picking up the phone. And for some of you who have the fear of the phone, I have a great tip for you. So I have now added on my wish list party forms, the first sentence after the whole contact information, I say, how would you like me to contact you for refills or to make sure you love our products? And then I list phone, text, email, Facebook for them to circle as a means of contact. I don't ask. I tell them I'm contacting them. They circle the one that best suits their life. So guess what? I don't feel bad about sending them an email, text, or placing that call because they told me to. That's how they prefer. And as an indie goddess with quick sale, I added an E or T, P, or an F in front of each client's name. E stands for email, T for text, P is for phone, and F is for Facebook. So example, Karen Smith would be F-Karen Smith. This way, when I go to search my parties for follow-ups, I can search by month and just type in F-. All the people who wanted me to follow up with them on Facebook will show up. So there's my list of who I need to send private messages to. And like Chrissy does, I set up my hardcore paper files into sections: 2 weeks, 2 months, 6 months, 1 year. So when it's time to do follow-ups, I pull out a section. So I have all my paper, my hardcore notes, and then I have my iPad, and it tells me which way the client prefers for follow-up. This has worked wonderfully, and no stress about making that call or contact.
You know, one of the most important things about being in a business like ours is being responsive to our clients. And that can get a little overwhelming sometimes when we have clients contacting us on our cell phones, through text, through email, through voicemail, and more often through Facebook. Now, we have hundreds of Facebook messages in our inbox. So how do you keep them organized so that you don't forget to reply and check in?
So if anybody messages me during the day, either clients, team members, or even my family and friends, I try to answer them as I go, quick comments. If I can't, I just actually add them to my list, and then I'll respond to them when I can later.
That's a really great habit. It can also be something you do as part of your office hours, you know, making sure you're cleaning out that inbox, you know, right before a blitz or when you do your hostess coaching. And it serves as a good reminder of our, you know, of the clients that we've reached out to and maybe never heard back from as well. So, Jill, after really taking time to focus some effort on the follow-up process, what has been your success?
All right, so it was kind of nerve-wracking reaching out to people that I partied with 2 years ago. I'm not going to lie. My heart was pounding in my chest. But after the first few calls, I realized it was all in my head. I started every conversation or form of contact with an apology that I'm sorry it had been so long. And that I was giving myself a personal goal for this year to follow up better. Not one single person was upset with me. The complete opposite. I got tons of thank yous for calling and checking in. I got people saying how much they love their products they received and remembering about the parties. And then the orders, lots of refills. I doubled my outside orders for February than what I did the year before.
That is amazing. Doubling your orders is huge. That is not a small thing. And I am so glad that you mentioned that because a huge part of follow-up is to kind of take care of our clients' needs for our consumable products. So for those of you out there who have never heard that term before, consumables are products that we purchase that are going to get used up and that are going to need to be replaced. So things like Supreme Shave Lotion, things like the Honey Oatmeal Soap, even the Ayate washcloths, those have a shelf life. They have a lifespan, and it's important to follow up with your clients to make sure they have an opportunity to kind of stay stocked with those items and that they remain, you know, loyal clients.
So you can make a list of people to call back a year after they purchase the Ayate products or a month after they purchase shampoo, conditioner, or 2 months after they've purchased, like, you know, pheromone lotions, colognes. You know, consumables create a perfect opportunity to reach out, and anytime you talk to a client, you have the opportunity to deepen your relationship with them. Maybe book a party or even recruit them. You know, is that what you found in your calls, Jill?
Yes, it's more than just the extra money in sales. I have reconnected with people I have partied with 2 years ago. During these calls, some clients and I have relived the best moments of their parties. Building that bond with clients is very important to me, and most of the time, I say I do a good job. But it has been, but this has been over time. My first year as a goddess, it was a whirlwind. I was trying to go for top new goddess, so my paperwork was a mess. I had no really good filing system, and I was just focused on the next party. But now I get to go back and thank those people for my success.
What was your largest outside order?
My largest outside order was from one person was $245. And then I challenged myself to get 1K in outside orders at the end of March, and I did it in 2.5 days. You may ask how? or some people have already on the WOW page. During my follow-ups with my clients, I keep a notepad. Some may say, oh, check back with me next month for refills, or let me look at your site, or I know I want something, I just don't know what yet. So I pull my notepad and I revisit this list. I contacted each of those people. I offered them a little incentive for placing their order with me now, and I also explained I had a sales goal I wanted to reach. And sure enough, every single one of them ordered. Only one person contacted me too late, but she mentioned for me to reach out to her for my next sales challenge. She told me she has a great tax return coming. I should also mention that my smallest order was anal ease, small in size, small in cost, but this person has asked me for a summer catalog, so I have a great reason to follow up with her.
Whew. Holy cow, that is so awesome, $1,000 in outside orders in 2.5 days. So were you up from like dawn to midnight working on that?
Well, as a member of the 66 Sellers, Olivia's team, we were trying to get to a 30K team for that goodie basket, and she had posted our sales. So we were all busting our butts trying to get our sale number in, and I was going to try my best to put another 1K to that total. I worked a total of 10 hours totaling, like for contacting orders and shipping orders. Well, I paid myself about $500 for that time. And as a team, we fell a little short, but I have to say I'm still proud. It was one of our largest months we've had. And I also proved to myself with determination that I could achieve anything.
That's right. And how about other benefits? I mean, did you get bookings, recruit leads from doing any of that follow-up?
I have been working on this project since after the January meeting. My calls and contacting didn't really start until February, but I have received 6 bookings from the follow-up calls, along with 4 referrals to new clients. I've also received 4 recruit leads, and I have a new team member from the follow-ups.
Woo! So it seems like this has been like a super positive experience for you. So way to go, woman. Mm-hmm. You know, and I know anytime you take something like this on or try something new, there's always some unexpected challenges. So what were some of your challenges?
So my biggest challenge is remembering names with faces. I honestly don't know how Mother Goddess does it. And when you're dealing with thousands of clients, it makes it harder. Facebook has helped a lot with this, but when I go to a party and I'm having a guest there that I just followed up with maybe the week before and not remembering her, it's really hard to take. So I just started a new thing at all my parties. When I go to the parties, I say, how many of you have seen me this year? How many of you have heard me call you for a follow-up? How many of you have seen me at the store and you run the other way? And it usually gets them laughing. I open up and start talking about confidentiality then and how I would never approach a client and for that reason. But if they want to tackle me, they're more than welcome to. I also tell people up front I've been trying really hard to do better with follow-ups and have contacted thousands of people, so please excuse my memory. So I say, if we have chatted this year, make sure you mark your form on the top. It's me, dummy. This is a way in the ordering room I can open up a conversation and reward them with a sample. And I think just being honest is really the best policy.
That's awesome. It's me, dummy. I'm going to use that.
It's me, dummy.
So, what lessons have you learned on this journey? Can you give us kind of your notes from the road, Jill?
Yes. I can't do it all, but I sure can try, and I'll give it my best. Don't wait to follow up. I have clients refer to me because they can't remember who their other goddesses were. Don't wait also because it's harder to remember the parties from further back. Don't be afraid of the phone because you're worried about someone being upset at you. I have yet to have one person upset with me. During this entire experience, only one person asked me to remove them from their contact list, and that person was a guest from one of my former team members. She didn't even know me, so I don't blame her. Make sure you have your Freedom Goddesses and Adonis filling out correct contact information in the back office. The more you put into it is the more you get, not only financially but spiritually. And don't compare yourself to other goddesses and Adonises. I've been working as much as I want, and it's working out just fine for me.
That a girl. And so with that, what are your plans for moving forward?
I'm going to continue the system that I put in place. I'll continue to add to it, add to it to make things run smoothly. I will be sure to set certain days for my follow-up, and I'm going to teach my team members what I've learned on this journey.
So if someone said, I don't have time for this, what would you say to them, Jill?
Okay, so make the time. Time is money. And if you don't want the money, somebody else will. Create your own system. Set yourself hours that will work for you for follow-up. And with all the jobs that I do, stay-at-home mom and wife, I find and make the time. Some days I'm working 6 to 12 midnight, but I'm making money for joys of life. I'm working to live, not living to work.
Oof. I like that. A lot of people forget about that, Jill.
It's
so
true.
If you could go back in time and tell the new goddess, Jill Cram, anything, what would you say to her?
Okay. Don't take on more than you can handle. Set yourself financial goals and put them in place. Start your party finance breakdown sheets early. With your party profits, treat yourself a little, save a little, and put a little aside to grow. The sky is the limit with your business. Don't be afraid to dream big. Get yourself organized. Stay in contact with clients more closely. When baking with eggnog, be prepared that cupcakes will look like Smurf outfits. And when in doubt, order a butt plug so you can beat Holly Merchant at sale. And hold on to your nipples because it's going to be a wild ride.
Jill, thank you so much for another outstanding call tonight. I know our warriors have been feverishly writing notes. Warriors, we ask that you not private message our questions for Jill on Facebook, but please check out the thread that we've posted on the Warrior Facebook page for any questions you have for Jill. This is to avoid duplication of questions, but more importantly, to make sure your question is not missed. And with that being said, would our favorite yummy cupcake baking goddess please give our warriors their 3 action steps for the week?
You got it. Here you go, warriors. Number 1, get organized with your client files. Number 2, create a plan of attack. How much time can you devote to the follow-up and when? And number 3, track your success. Watch your numbers increase and more money in your pocket.
It's okay, warriors. Before I give you the last code word, please listen closely to the instructions. So if you're listening to the call Wednesday, April 22nd, you have 2 things to do before going to bed tonight. Email wow@athenashn.com. In the subject line, you must put Warriors of Wealth. In the body of the email, you need to leave your name, your Goddess Adonis number, and the 2 code words. The last thing you must do to be entered to win $100 in free product is to go to our WOW Facebook page and post your aha moment underneath the thread we have pinned to the top of the page with the 3 action steps for the week. Please do not post them randomly on the page. They will not count towards winning the $100 in free product. And Mother Goddess will draw a name on Thursday or Friday and post the winner in the group page. So our second code word is centered. Our second code word is centered. CENTERED, centered. All emails must be received by 11:59 Eastern Standard Time on Friday, April 24th. But heck, warriors never wait. We get done. So till next time, everyone. Woohoo!
One more call left. Thank you, Jill.
One left.
Thank you. Bye, ladies.
Thank you, Jill. Thank you.